Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar Racetrack here on Friday. It is the 5th of November 2021. We're going to look at all Friday's Breeders' Cup races, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and join me tomorrow for Saturday's preview of the Breeders' Cup here from Del Mar. But it's an excellent card here today with all the 2-year-old races. We're going to be looking at races 6 through 10, and I think you can make some money with them. So let's get to it right now, starting off with the 6th race from Del Mar. Race number 6 from Del Mar. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. It's a grade 2 event going for a purse of $1 million. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have 14 horses entered, but only 12 could go to the Jimmy Durante Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,000 meters, or the distance of ground of 5 furlongs on the Jimmy Durante Turf Course. 1,000 meters, 5 furlongs. The portable rails are down, so they'll be running at the true position. So no false rail. 5 furlongs, and I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. Sorry, I have 3 notepads like this full of notes for this weekend. It's gonna be a fun weekend. But something to keep in mind out with this Del Mar turf course: you need to have a good position. You know, this might be a little controversial to say, but I don't think the best horse wins on this turf course at Del Mar. You know, one of my favorite angles is betting a horse next start out after running at Del Mar, where they just don't get a good trip. Bet them at Santa Anita, bet them at Gulfstream in the next few months. They run a lot better. So you need to have good position, and you need to be drawn low because, you know, the turns are tight, and it's just, you know, it's a mad scramble for position. With that being said, my top selection, I'm going to go with the 2-horse Coffee Maker. We'll go 2-7-6-8 in the superfecta. 2-7-6-8 super. Top selection to 2-horse Coffee Maker. 2-year-old filly by Jimmy Creed. Wesley Ward trains this one. Jose Ortiz comes in from New York to ride this one. The horse's most recent outing came the 10th of October at Keeneland. 5.5 furlongs in the Indian Summer Stakes, and the horse finished second by 3 lengths there. And he sat back early, you know, a little lackadaisical early on, but really closed up well behind the stablemate Averly Jane, who just basically won it on the front end. Come back here today where you'll see a good pace to close up with. From a starting position, I think he could really run a good race. Also, the draw is very into his favor. 2 back first off the bench in the Juvenile Turf Sprint at Kentucky down 6.5 furlongs, 9th September. First start in 2 months, you know, on a very quirky kind of layout course. He finished 3rd by 1 1/4 lengths. He was with them early on, a little bit wide, had the lead for a split portion, but then just kind of hit the wall. I do think he needed the race, and I also think it was a good stamina building kind of race with that quirkiness of Kentucky Nouns. But also, I don't think he was handling the ground there, but he really improved next start out with that Indian Summer. And then prior to that, they ran the horse at Royal Alaska on the 15th of June. Firm ground, 6 furlongs in the Group 2 Coventry Stakes. He finished 8th by 4 lengths there, and he just kind of hit the wall late. You know, Berkshire Shadow really just had the jump on him, and then the debut at Keeneland going 4.5 in the main special weight, winning by 6.5 lengths, and he basically won for fun there. Very good race. He's been training very well at Keeneland on the turf course in the last few weeks. A lot better workouts coming to this race than the last few races, and I think here at 12 to 1 he's loaded, so let's take him. Your second likeliest winner is the 7-horse Armor, 2-year-old colt by No Nay Never. They tried the horse in the Middle Park Stakes at Newmarket last month, where he finished 3rd by 3/4 length. He didn't have the best beginnings that day, but he really closed up well from the back of the pack. I didn't think it was a half bad race. With a little quicker pace than this one today, if he comes from behind, I think he will really run a good race. But he can be versatile. He can set the pace also by running in the like he did 2 back in the Group 2 Flying Childers at Doncaster over the 5, where he finished second by a neck, and he's with them early on. The winner just had the jump on him, but again, nothing bad about that race. Biggest question with him is it's going to be the first time he runs around a bend. All his races in Europe have basically been down the straightaway, you know, but he wasn't running bad at all down the straightaway. You know, actually had a very good 4th place finish in the Prix Mornay at Deauville over the 6 furlongs, and a very nice victory in the Molcombe at Glory's Goodwood a month prior. Like him a lot here at 6 to 1. We'll use him on the pick 5 ticket. And also keep an eye on the number 6 horse here, Twilight Gleaming. Hasn't been seen since the Prix de Vallée d'Auge at Deauville, basically listed stakes, where he won by a neck and was under the drive, excelling that day. A very good race on soft ground, which I don't think the Wesley Ward horses like. Getting very quick ground off the bench. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse runs a very good race. Didn't think the place before that in the Queen Mary was a bad race at all. And then the maiden victory at Belmont here in New York in May was very, very impressive. Basically won for fun in a paid workout. Coming off the bench at 4-1 with a good poster. It wouldn't surprise me if this horse wins. We'll definitely use her in the pick 5. But to recap my selections for the 6 from Del Mar, it is the Grade 2 $1 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. Let's take the 2-horse Coffee Maker as a top selection. Give kudos to the 7-horse Armor and the 6-horse Twilight Gleaming. 2768 Super. Let's go 276 in the multi-race to race number 7 now. The 7th race from Del Mar, it is the Net Jets Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $2 million. Races for 2-year-old fillies. We have a field of 6 horses, but I think it's a competitive group of 6 horses going to the dirt. The distance of ground here, 1,700 meters, or a mile 1/16th on the Del Mar main track. 1,700 meters, mile 16th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse here, who is Tarambi. I'm going to go 4-6-5-2 in the superfecta. 4-6-5-2 super. Top selection of 4 horse Tarambi. This 2-year-old filly by First Samurai. Charlie DeVoe trains this one. Javier Castellano gets him out. He's having a little bit of a somewhat down year, but he's been heating up recently, and it wouldn't surprise me if next year if Castellano really heats up even more. But this Tarambi most recently ran the 5th of September at Saratoga, 7 furlongs in the spinaway, and lost all chances at the beginning. Finished second by 4 lengths, but if you watch the beginning, the horse basically had the wind knocked out of her. She hit the gate, stumbled after that, and for the first 16th of the mile was basically in space, but after that recovered, went to a stalking position that day. At the top of the lane, Echo Zulu just had the jump on her, but this horse really placed well there behind her. Coming here first, start around 2 turns, hopefully with a better beginning. That's the main thing with her. With a better beginning, I think she could really improve off the last race. Like I said, after all this said and done, that spin away with that horrible beginning, I thought she really ran a terrific race. Before that, she ran the debut at Ellis, 7th of August, 6 furlongs in main special weight 51,000. Went by 5.5 lengths. She stalked that day. She slowly moved her way up, and she got the job done in hand. A very good race. She with a race with a lot of speed, she doesn't need to the lead, which I think is going to be a great thing for her. Coming from a stalking position, really training well Keelan. At 12-1, I'm going to take her. Your second likeliest winner is a 6 horse, Echo Zulu. I want to call her Zulu Echo for some reason, but Echo Zulu is too early by Gunrunner. Steve Asmussen trains one. Joel Rosario gets on this one for the first time. Most recently at Belmont, 1 mile in the Frazette. The horse won by 7 1/4 lengths, basically won on the front end in hand. Very easy race, earning a 90 buyer. And then before then, the spinaway, where she ran against Tarambi, she basically, again, didn't break so great that day, not as bad as Tarambi, but she recovered after that, and basically walked in the park, winning by 4 lengths. That was a good race, and then broke the main before that at Saratoga, going 5.5, where she didn't break that well, and she had a little bit of a trouble trip. She's been improving somewhat with every single race. I do like that they took her to the West Coast right after that Belmont race, so she's been training at Santa Anita and here at Del Mar. I think something when you see the Breeders' Cup races on the West Coast, I love seeing that angle, because then the horses kind of get acclimatized to the region, and I think they have that just slight little edge that could get them over the finish line first. But at 4-5, she's really been on the improve. First round 2 turns, a little bit of question, but I think she can win here. And the 5 horse, Juju's Map, I thought the Alcibiades race was a very good race, winning by 4 3/4 lengths last time out of Keelan, and before that at Ella she won even easier. But I do hate the statuous. If you look at the comment line, statuous in the stretch, this charcoaler that day, didn't have to put that, but he did win in hand there at Ellis, and then before that, going 5.5 at Ellis in the debut, I thought everything was wrong about that race. The distance and just the horse was just not ready to run there, but she's really been on the improve, trading well also. We'll give her a shot at 5-2 on this pick 5. But to recount my selection for the 7th from Del Mar, it's the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies. We're going to take the 4 horse Tarambi as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 6 horse Echo Zulu and the 5 horse Juju's Map. 4-6-5-2 Super. 4-6-5 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 8th from Del Mar. Race number 8 from Del Mar. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies Turf. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $1 million. Race for 2-year-old fillies here. We have a field of 14 horses heading to the Jimmy Durante Turf Course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Del Mar Turf Course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile turf course. My top selection in this race, I'm going to go with the number 7 horse here, Consumer Spending. Well, let's go 7-1-3-13 in the superfecta. 7-1-3-13 super. Top selection, 7 horse, Consumer Spending. Cheerfully by More Than Ready. Chad Brown trains this one. Flavien Prat gets the mounts. You know, Chad Brown and Flavien Prat are based on the opposite sides of America, but when they team up, they really team up to some good victories. And, if California loses Flavien Prat to the East Coast, it's going to be the East Coast Chad Brown's greatest game, because those two, like I said, those two, when they get together, they really run, they get the best out of all their horses. But Consumer Spending, most recent outing came to Salima at Laurel, mile 16th on the 2nd of October, and the horse walked that day, winning by 2 1/4 lengths. She sat back early, she slowly moved her way up, and when she got the job done, she's on the drive late, but she just kept excelling. That was a very good run. Something to keep in mind about the Laurel turf course: when it's firm, it's the softer side of firm. It's not soft, but I've always noticed that it's a very fair turf course, but it's not like a rock hard firm turf course that you might see here in New York sometimes, or especially on the West Coast. But she really loved it there at Laurel. Two-back run at Saratoga the 6th of September, mile 16th on the inner turf course, main special weight, winning by 4.5 lengths there. She sat back early after not the best beginnings, but got out in the stretch, and she quickened up nicely, and she kept going. That was a very good debut, or maiden victory there. And then prior to that, in early August, Saratoga, mile 16th on the inner and main special weight, she finished second by 1 1/4 lengths. She sat back early, stupidly wide, but she closed up from nowhere. Nothing bad about that race. Really been on the improve. Coming here today with a very good post draw. I think she could really run a good race. Also, her workout patterns at Belmont haven't been half bad. Keep in mind with this race, not like the counterpart, the juvenile turf, which is your winners have mostly come from Europe. The juvenile Phillies turf, these winners have mostly come from America, so it's a very, don't always go to the European horses in this race first. Go to the American horses in this particular race really have the slight edge. With that being said, we're also in the multi-race going to take the 1 horse Pizza Bianca, 0 Philly by Fascinate Rock. Christophe Clement trains. Jose Ortiz gets on this one for Bobby Play, who bred and also owns this one. And also, Christophe Clement, I believe, is 0 for like 30-something in Breeders' Cup races. I think this might be his best chance all weekend. Most recently, they ran the horse in the Talma at Woodbine, 1 mile on the E.P. Taylor Turf course on the 19th of September, and the horse finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. Just kind of sat mid-pack most of the race. She quickened up a little bit, but the winner, Wild Beauty, just had the jump on her. I do think that was a good experience kind of race. Coming here today, gonna have to get out from the inside poster. I do like a little bit of I don't want a wide post draw, but I don't want a rail poster either. If she could get out, I think she could run a little bit better race. But like I said, the Natalma was a very good run. And then before that, Saratoga in late July, mile 16th, the main special weight for 100K. She won by 3/4 length, and she had a little bit of a wide poster, a little bit wide throughout, but she got the job done in hand. She's been training very well here in New York at Belmont. 5-1. We'll definitely use her on the ticket. Like I said, I think this is the best chance for Christophe Clement to get that Breeders' Cup victory finally. And we'll also give kudos to the 3 horse Catchet. Luis Saez on this one. I thought the place in the Phillies mile at Newmarket wasn't bad at all on the very soft ground. She goes up a lot better with the firm ground. Big question with her is, can she go around 2 turns? She's been running around basically down the 1 mile straightaways in Europe and doing quite well there. But going around 2 turns is going to be a big question. But she does get Luis Saez up, who's having an incredible year. So at 12-1, we'll use this horse in the multis. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Del Mar, it is the Grade 1 $1 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies Turf. As a top selection, we'll take the 7 horse Consumer Spending. We'll give kudos to the 1 horse Pizza Bianca and the 3 horse Can't speak, pardon me. I'm only 1 cup of coffee in. We're going to go 7-1-3-13 in the superfecta, 7-1-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to the juvenile race number 9 from Del Mar. The 9th race from Del Mar, it is the TVG Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $2 million. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 12 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground is 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of a mile 1/16 on the Del Mar main track. 1,700 meters, a mile 1/16 in the juvenile. And this is a very, very wide open race. You could go a few ways, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's just going to be a random result. As a top selection, I'm going to go with the 4-horse Papa Cop. I'm going to go 4, 9, 110 in the superfecta. 4, 9, 110 super. Top selection, 4-horse Papa Cap. This 2-year-old colt by Gunrunner. Mark Hasse trains one. Joe Bravo gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 1st of October at Santa Anita, mile 16th in the American Vero, and the horse finished second by 3 1/4 lengths. Corn Sheep basically won on the front end. This horse kind of stalked a little bit wide. Just couldn't quicken up late, but I think it was a half bad race. Hopefully we'll look quicker fraction than this one. This horse could really get a good trip, and I think he could run a lot better. I do like the better poster here today with this one also, not drawn on the basically in the parking lot. I do think the a lot of the shorter prices are parked in the parking lot, and they're going to have a tough time to win from there. Even though I do believe Good Magic, who won this race in 2017, was parked in the parking lot and still won. It has a maiden also, which is quite impressive. But I do like the poster with this horse. Too bad he ran locally here in the Del Mar Futurity over the 7 furlong 6 September, where he finished 4th by 5 1/4 lengths, and he just kind of had a horrible beginning that day. And this was very lackadaisical and very erratic in that race. Never could concentrate. It just wasn't his day to win. And then prior to that, in the best pal at Del Mar, 6 furlong 7th of August, he won by 4 3/4 lengths from a stalking position. He just kept going, and he got the job done very nicely. First start on the West Coast. Prior to that, he ran the 14th of May at Gulfstream, 5 furlongs and main special weight 60,000, won by 2 3/4 lengths on the front and all throughout. He just basically flicked off everybody and kept going. Really been on the improve. I do like the workout patterns at Santa Anita. Really good poster at 15 to 1. We'll use him in a very wide open race. I think your second likely winner is the 9-horse Pinehurst. This 2-year-old colt by Twirling Candy. Bob Baffert trains. John Velasquez gets him out. Most recently, they ran the horse locally in the Del Mar Futurity over the 7 furlongs, where he won by 4 1/2 lengths. And basically, he didn't break that well. Just kind of a pattern with him, but he recovered after that, went to the front end, and he kept going, win by 4 1/2 lengths. I thought that was a very good victory. Prior to that, he ran at Del Mar, 5 furlongs in main special weight, winning by a half length. He didn't break that well, but slowly moved his way to the front end and kept going. Do like the workout patterns. He's going to have to get a good trip from the outside, but I think he has the speed to win. At 8 to 1, we'll use him. And I also think you have to give kudos to the 1-horse Jack Christopher. His Champagne victory at Belmont a few weeks ago over the mile was very impressive, winning by 2 3/4 lengths. He stalked, he got the lead, and he kept going. Geared down a little bit late, but it was still a good run. But that race could have took a lot out of him. 109 to 3/4. That's quite fast for a 2-year-old. Let's see how he recovers out of that run. Before that, Saratoga in late August, going 6 furlongs in main special weight, he won by 8 3/4 lengths, and again he ran quick that day for the 3/4 on 109 and 4, and he just kept going on the front end. That was a good race. Big question with him is did the last race take a lot out of him? Can he go 2 turns? Is he somewhat kind of a 1-turn kind of horse? We'll figure that out today. If not, if he doesn't get the 2 turns today, he'll be your favorite for the Woody Stevens or the King's Bishop next summer at Saratoga. But he's been working well, but I have questions with him, especially as a short price. And the 10-horse Command Performance, I didn't think his place in the Champagne wasn't bad at all, and the place before that, Saratoga, wasn't bad at all. But he's going to have to break well, and he's going to have to be a little bit more involved early on in the race to win here. At 5 to 1, we'll give him a shot on the multi-race in this very wide open race. It's a head scratcher, this Breeders' Cup Juvenile this year. You could go a few more. You could go a lot of ways in this race. But to recount my selection for the 9th from Del Mar, it's the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Let's take as a top selection the 4-horse Papa Cap. We'll give kudos to the 9-horse Pinehurst, the 1-horse Jack Christopher, and the 10-horse Command Performance. 4, 9, 110 super. Let's use them all in the multi-race. Let's get to the 10th race from Del Mar. Race number 10 from Del Mar. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. It's a Grade 1 event going for a purse of $1 million. Races for 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 16 horses entered, but only 14 could go to the turf course. The distance of ground of 1,600 meters or 1 mile on the Del Mar turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. And this is always one of the most exciting races of the weekend. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 2-horse Albar. I'll go 2-10-1-5 in the superfecta, 2-10-1-5 super. Top selection of 2-horse Albar. This 2-year-old gelding by DeBowie. Charlie Appleby trains one. Frankie Dettori gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 19th of September at Woodbine, 1 mile on the E.P. Taylor Turf Course in the Grade 1 Summer Stakes, and the horse won by 2 1/4 lengths. He sat back early after a horrible beginning, but settled well after that, and when he got to lead, he quickened up nicely, and he kept going. That was a very good race. Coming here today, drawn very well. I think he could really improve off that run. Also getting Frankie up isn't bad at all. 2 back, the horse ran the Stonehenge Stakes at Salisbury, 1 mile on the 20th of August, winning by 3/4 length on that little bit of a quirky turf course. He sat back early, he slowly moved his way up, and then he didn't go down without a fight. He looked like he was finished at the furlong pole, but he fought back, and he got the job done. A very good race after all is said and done. And then on Fast Grad at Haydock, which is very unusual, on the 17th of July, 7 furlongs and a novice over the 1400. He won by 4 3/4 lengths, and again on the front end all throughout, quickened up nicely. A very good race as a first-time gelding. Prior to that, he was running, as a colt at Haydock on the 9th of June, 7 furlongs in a novice race, and he won by a neck. And he's a little, lackadaisical early on. Got to lead, and then he kept going. Lex Dave was the start before. That day he was on the front end, but the race before, the debut at York over the 6th in May, very weird race. He didn't break that well, was looking all around, and just never concentrated on the run. He had a lot of 2-year-old antics, but really since that race from York to Woodbine, he's improving tenfold. Coming here today, drawn very well at 6-1. I think he's going to run a good race, and he has a very strong with the pedigree here. I think this horse has a very strong future. So let's take him. Your second likely winner is the 10-horse Portfolio Company. Chad Brown trains 2-year-old colt by Kitten's Joy. Flavian Pratt, like I said, those the team gets them out here. Most recently, he ran the Pilgrim here at Belmont on mile 16th and 3rd of October, where he finished second by head. He set the pace early on. He got caught late by Annapolis, who just had the jump on him. What can you do? He just couldn't keep up there. But before then, with anticipation, Saratoga over the mile 16th, he finished second by 2 lengths. Again, he wanted to go, but Joe Irad didn't want to let him go. Stupidly wide, and he just didn't have a lot left in tank late. And then he won the debut very nicely from the stalking position at Saratoga. Today, the best chance for him is going to be leaving from the outside and see how far he could go. At 6-1, let's use him. And I also think the 1-horse Modern Games, another Godolphin Appleby horse. William Buick gets on this one. I think he's your third likeliest winner. Most recently in the Group 3 Somerville at Newmarket over the 7, he won by 2 1/4 lengths, and he was with him early on dueling that day. But when he got the lead and by himself, he just kept going. A very good run there. And then before that, in a handicap at Doncaster over the 7, he won by 3 1/4 lengths. Carrying 131 pounds was quite high for him. He just kept going. A very good race there on the front end. And then before that, at Leicester, 7 furlongs on soft ground and a novice, he finished second by 3/4 length, carrying 134 pounds, which here in America, a horse carrying 134 pounds in the 2-year-old campaign is just unheard of. It's unheard of in any campaign, mostly here in America, unless you have those few random handicaps, which are few and far between. But there, he placed that day. He just couldn't keep up on the soft ground. But I didn't think it was a half bad race. I thought that was a stamina builder. And then he broke the maiden very nicely at Newmarket on the July course, going 7. Basically from the starting position, he won nicely. Another horse drawn very well, 5-1. We'll give him a shot. And the 5-horse Slipstream, he's going to a 2-turn race for the first time. He won the Surety at Belmont very nicely, going 6, and then broke the main before that, going 7 at Belmont on the Widener, even easier. He's a horse, he's interesting. I kept going back to him. My thoughts with him, he's either going to run a massive race or he's going to basically finish 14th. Just keep an eye on him, but I do prefer the other 3 before him. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Del Mar, it is the Grade 1 $1 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Let's take as a top selection the 2-horse Albar. Give kudos to the 10-horse Portfolio Company and the 1-horse Modern Games. 2-10-1-5 Super, 2-10-1 in your multi-race. So good luck to all. Remember to join me tomorrow for some more Breeders' Cup previews, and good luck everybody. Let's hopefully make some money today.